name's Alice. I'm the founder of My Self-Care Edit, and I'm on a mission to encourage everyone to take a little bit more me time. So for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to be guiding you through a gentle beginner's yoga flow, something that can help wake up the entire body and something that you can use to take a little break from whatever else is going on at the moment, whether that's taking a break from work or from homeschooling, or even just a little something different to do at the weekend. So the only piece of equipment that you will need is a yoga strap or something similar. So if you don't have a yoga strap, don't worry, you can still take part in this practice. If you have anything that you will be able to hold between your arms, so maybe the belt of a dressing gown or perhaps even a towel, anything that you can keep extended and that doesn't have too much stretch in it. So that's the only thing that you will need for this practice. So just keep that handy, and then whenever you're ready, we're going to start off in a comfortable seated position. So that could be sitting cross-legged, could be kneeling down, anything that feels comfortable for you. And we're just going to start by closing the eyes, or just soften the eyes if this doesn't feel comfortable. And we're just going to take a moment to let the body settle, to let the mind settle, taking some nice deep breaths. Noticing where you feel the breath in the body. Maybe you can feel the air in your nose, maybe in the throat, the chest. We're just going to start to deepen the breath, drawing the air all the way down to the belly, really filling up the lungs. Feeling the belly rise and fall with each inhale and exhale. Feeling the chest fill with air, feeling the belly fill with air, and letting it go. We're going to seal the lips and breathe in and out through the nose. So a huge part of yoga is the breath, our connection to the breath. So if all you do for the next 20 minutes or so is stay here and breathe, that is absolutely fine if that is what your body needs, your mind needs right now. And we'll take one more deep breath here, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then just gently blinking open the eyes if you had them closed. We're going to, with our inhale, draw our shoulders all the way up to our ears. And with our exhale, just roll the shoulders down the back. So just inviting this movement into the body. Inhaling, lifting the shoulders up to the ears. And exhaling, drawing the shoulders down the back. And just one more, nice deep inhale. And exhale, letting it go. Now if you grab hold of your strap or whatever you have which is similar to this, so maybe a belt, we're going to take the strap in both hands, starting with a nice long length of the strap between the hands. And as we breathe in, we're going to bring the strap up above our heads and behind us. And as we breathe out, we will return the strap to the starting point. So this is just going to start to wake up the shoulders, work into those shoulders a little bit more. If this feels too easy, you can always walk the hands in a little bit more. If there feels like there's too much sensation or if there's any pain at all, just walk the hands out to give you a longer length of the strap. So just moving with your breath here, however feels nice. And we're going to be keeping some tension in the strap. So we want to think about pulling our hands away from each other, really helping to start engaging the arms, working into the shoulders. This can be a really nice one if you've spent quite a lot of time at a desk, or maybe you're working from home, working from a computer, or you've been helping with the homeschooling, sort of leaning over a desk, or even just using our phones. Quite often we have this sort of rounding forward motion. So this move really just helps to open up the shoulders, open up the chest, bring some nice extension into the body here. And the next time that the strap comes up above your head, we're going to pause here. We're going to rotate the right shoulder inwards, drawing the strap behind us. So we have this sort of diagonal line across the body. Again, keeping that engagement, keep pulling the hands away from each other here. Maybe feeling a little bit of a different sensation into the shoulders or into a different area of the chest. And then we're going to rotate the shoulder back, bringing the strap back above our heads, and repeat this on the left side. So rolling that shoulder in. Again, keeping that tension in the strap, pulling those hands apart, and coming back up to center here. So we'll just do a couple more little motions here. Again, maybe walking the hands in towards each other a bit more. Maybe you want to take the hands a bit wider. Just waking up the shoulders. So if you find that you are a little bit stiff from being at a desk or whatever you're doing in your day-to-day life, even just spending a couple of minutes doing these movements can be really beneficial. So we're just going to pop our strap off to one side now. And we're going to make our way to all fours, so our tabletop position. So we want our wrists under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. So we've got this nice alignment here. You can keep the toes tucked or place the tops of the feet to the mat, whichever feels comfortable for you. And we're going to do some cat and cows. So as you inhale, drawing the navel down towards the ground, lifting the gaze up towards the sky. And as you exhale, pushing the ground away, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone, rounding the spine here. Inhaling to draw the navel down, lift the gaze up. And exhale to push the ground away, tuck the chin, tuck the chest. And just moving in a way that feels good for you. It doesn't need to be at the same pace as the movements that I'm doing. Maybe you spend a little bit longer in one position than the other. Just feeling into the body and feeling what feels good for you in this present moment. And with our next inhale, we're just going to bring the spine to a neutral position. We're going to tuck the toes if they weren't already tucked, and lift the hips up and back into our first downward facing dog. So you can take any movements that feel good here, maybe pedaling out the legs, bending one knee then the other. In this position, we're not working to necessarily have the legs super straight. This is more about finding that elongation, that extension of the spine. So you have a nice long spine here. So if that means a slight bend in the knees to be able to really support the spine in this extension, then feel free to take that soft bend of the knees. Maybe shaking the head yes and no, relaxing the jaw. And just taking a couple more breaths here in our downward facing dog. With our next inhale, we'll look between our palms and step both feet up to the top of the mat. Lift halfway, lengthen the spine, lengthen the legs, and exhale to fold over the legs. Again here, you can take a soft bend in the knee if that feels nice. If you want to start to straighten the legs, you can. Just do what feels good for your body here. And with our next inhale, we're going to slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time, coming all the way up to a standing position, with our head being the last to rise. So we're going to move through a short flow, a short sequence here. I'll talk you through each movement. So we're going to start in Tadasana, which is our mountain pose. So traditionally in this position, we have our big toes touching and our heels slightly apart. If this doesn't feel comfortable on the hips, then just take your feet to hip width distance apart. So again, it is really about tuning into you and your body in this practice today. We're going to maybe give our toes a little bit of a wiggle, feeling into the mat. Drawing the kneecaps up, engaging the quads, tucking the tailbone under, so we have this nice long line of energy running up through the body. Engaging the core, extending the fingers down by the sides, really energizing through those fingers. And drawing up through the crown of the head. So this is our Tadasana, our mountain pose. With our next inhale, we're going to rise the arms all the way up towards the sky, looking up towards our fingertips. And as we exhale, folding forward from the hips, coming all the way down to our forward fold, our Uttanasana. As we inhale, lifting halfway, lengthening the spine, lengthening the legs. And as we exhale, placing the palms to the mat, stepping both feet back towards a plank pose. You can always bring your knees down at any point here. And then all together, we're going to bring our knees, chest and chin down to the mat. And as we inhale, sliding the chest through the window of the arms, bringing the chest forward to our cobra. So it doesn't matter how high your chest is here. Maybe you're only just a little bit off the ground. This is absolutely fine. It's whatever your body needs right now. With our exhale, we're going to tuck our toes, push up and lift our hips up and back to our downward facing dog. So again, maybe pedaling out the legs, taking any movements that feel good. Maybe you want to find a little bit of stillness if this is what your body is craving. Just tuning in and listening to what we need right now. With your next inhale, look between the palms. We're going to step both feet up towards the top of the mat, lifting halfway, lengthening the spine, lengthening the legs. And as we exhale, folding forward. With our next inhale, we'll rise the arms all the way up towards the sky, looking up towards the palms. And as we exhale, bringing the hands to prayer at the chest. Now we can readjust the body into our Tadasana, so either bringing our big toes together and our heels slightly out wide, or keeping that hip width distance for the feet. Taking an inhale, rising our arms all the way up to the sky, and exhale, folding forward from the hips, coming down to our forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, lengthening the spine, and exhale, plant the palms to the mat, step both feet back, and bring your knees, chest and chin down to the mat. Inhaling to a low cobra, drawing the chest through the window of the arms, maybe lifting the gaze slightly. And exhale, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back to our downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here, just feeling into the body, noticing whether the breath has quickened or slowed. See if you can just take in those nice deep inhales and exhales. And with our next inhale, we'll look between the palms and step our right foot forward between the hands. You can use your hand to assist here, so if you need to do a little wiggle, a couple of steps, then that's fine. We'll bring the back knee down to the mat. And with our next inhale, we're going to rise our arms all the way up. Bring our hands up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Maybe bringing the gaze up. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can keep the gaze straight ahead. If you feel any tension or pinching in your lower back, then just come out of this pose a little bit more and make sure you've got your core engaged to protect this kind of spine, lower spine area. So taking a nice deep breath in, And then as you exhale, squeezing the shoulder blades together, bending the elbows, and cactusing the arms here. So we want to keep our fingertips active, nicely spread wide, drawing the shoulder blades together, squeezing them in, drawing the elbows back and down. And again, this can be a really nice chest opener if you've been spending a lot of time with this sort of rounding sensation during the day. Just stretching out across the chest. And as you inhale, drawing the hands up towards the sky. And as you exhale, cactusing the arms once more. Maybe starting to bring the gaze up, or maybe keeping the gaze straight ahead, engaging that core, protecting the lower back. With our inhale, we'll rise our arms back up. And as we exhale, we'll plant our palms back down to the ground. And we're going to switch legs. So there's a couple of ways to do this. We can either bring the knee back into this tabletop position. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and sweep the leg back to our downward facing dog. Wherever you are, we're going to step our left foot forward between the palms, bringing the back knee down. So if you were in your tabletop position, we're just stepping the foot up here. And with our next inhale, we're going to rise the arms up to our low lunge. Again, making sure that you're engaging the core to protect the lower back here. And with your next exhale, cactusing the arms, so drawing the elbows back and down, splaying the hands, squeezing the shoulder blades together, feeling maybe that stretch across the chest. Maybe you feel this more in your shoulders. Just noticing where you feel the sensation. And with your next inhale, rising the arms, the hands up towards the sky. And exhale to cactus the arms. Inhaling to rise the arms up. And exhaling to cactus. Again, checking in with the legs. Maybe you're starting to feel a little sensation here. If you're feeling a little bit unstable in this position at any point, you can just wiggle your front foot out to the side and give yourself a little bit more of a channel between the legs. This can help us feel a little bit more stable, sort of taking that wider base. So with our next inhale, we'll rise the arms up to the sky and then bring them down with our exhale to frame the front foot. So again, we're going to be stepping this foot back. So you can either bring it back to tabletop and then lift your hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Or option 2, you can tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, start to move the hips back and step back to downward facing dog. And we'll spend 3 breaths here. Remembering to keep that nice extension in the spine, maybe a soft bend in the knees. Shaking the head yes and no, relaxing the jaw. And with our next inhale, we'll come forward towards a plank position. And we'll bring our knees, chest and chin down to the mat. Inhaling to draw the chest through the window of the arms into our low cobra. And exhale, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back to our downward facing dog. With our next inhale, we're going to step our right foot outside of our hands this time and bring the left knee down. So we've got both hands inside the right foot here. And we're just going to take some circles into the hips. So anything that feels good for you. Make sure we're taking the circles in both directions here, not worrying about what it looks like, just feeling into all the areas of the hips. And then finding some stillness here. Maybe you're up on your fingertips, maybe your palms are flat to the mat, maybe your forearms come down to the mat here. There's no need to sort of force into the flexibility here. It's really just about finding that balance between effort and ease. and just feeling that stretch into the hips. Or maybe you're feeling it into the quad on the left side. And we're going to switch legs here. So again, multiple options. Either bring your knees back to touch and then lift your hips up to downward facing dog, or we can lift the back knee into more of an active position here, sweep the leg back to our downward facing dog. And with our next inhale, we'll draw the left foot outside of the left hand, bringing the back knee down. And again, taking those circles in both directions, so feeling into all the areas of the hip, really waking up the entire body with these movements here. And when you're ready, finding a moment of stillness, a pause. Again, you might be up on your fingertips, maybe your palms are flat to the mat, maybe you have a couple of blocks or books that you can bring your forearms down to, kind of leaning into that stretch here. But again, there's no need to do any movements that feel uncomfortable. And when you're ready, we're going to bring our left knee back to meet our right, and then keeping the toes together, bringing the knees out wide, we're going to come back down into a child's pose here. So this is a really nice, relaxing, restorative position. Keep our arms stretched out in front of us, and we're working to get our hips to our heels. And just take some nice deep breaths, letting everything go. Let the head come down to the mat, maybe the forehead's on the mat. Maybe you want to move your head a little side to side, massaging out the forehead. Or maybe you just want to find a place of stillness here, observing the breath and letting go. We're going to slowly walk the hands up so that we come to a seated position on our heels. We're going to swing the legs out in front of us and just make our way, however it feels comfortable, onto our backs. So from here, we're just going to take a couple of spinal twists, so make sure you've got a little bit of space either side here. Bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a little hug, a squeeze, maybe rocking a little side to side, maybe taking some circles with the knees to massage out the lower back. And when you're ready, we'll bring our arms out wide to a T shape, placing our palms down towards the ground. And we'll start by moving our knees over to the right, so allowing the knees to start to drop down, keeping the shoulders grounded, allowing this twist into the body. You might want to bring your gaze over the left shoulder towards the left fingertips. If this feels uncomfortable on the neck at all, just keep the head, the neck straight. And with your next inhale, draw the knees in through the center before letting them drop over towards the left hand side. So keeping your shoulders grounded. If you find that your shoulder lifts at all, just bring your knees back a little bit, allow the shoulder to ground before coming back down into that twist. You can bring your gaze over the right shoulder here. Just feeling that bringing out of the spine, that nice twist into the body. And with your next inhale, drawing the knees in towards center and allowing the legs to extend out long. Bring your arms by your sides, allowing some nice space between the hands and the body. You can turn your palms up or keep them face down. It's entirely up to you and what you feel you need right now. And we're going to take our Shavasana, so our corpse pose. If you have time, I invite you to pause the video here, maybe take 5 minutes here in Shavasana, maybe even 10 minutes, however long your body needs. Taking your time to let everything go. Bringing your attention back to the body, wiggling fingertips and toes, maybe rolling wrists and ankles. And with your next inhale, rising the arms all the way up above your head, taking a nice full body stretch. And then slowly rolling off to one side, curling up in a little ball in your fetal position here, maybe using the hands, the arms as a pillow for your head. And then slowly rising up, taking your time, coming up towards a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes soft or closed. Bring your hands to prayer at the heart, or place the palms on the chest. We're going to bow our head here. Just taking a moment of gratitude. Gratitude to yourself for taking this time out of your day to turn up on the mat. Taking this time just for you. Gratitude to your body for moving through this flow. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. Namaste. Thank you so much for moving through this yoga flow today. If you have any questions at all about yoga, about self-care, anything that encourages a little bit more me time, then feel free to get in touch with me via Instagram at myselfcareedit. More than happy to help with any questions you might have. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.